Hello there, listeners. This is a continuation to the preview episode. And for the listeners that haven't listened to that one, I will say I'm in Jerusalem. I was walking along the train street, which is like a long park, and I was trying to get to the Tzaftzafah neighborhood. But I didn't look at any map. I just follow a general direction that I got. So I'm not sure that I managed to. I think I didn't manage to get to the Tzaftzafah neighborhood. And I'm now standing underneath an ancient windmill and looking at a giant church, probably something very central and important, I guess. And I'm looking at the walls of ancient Jerusalem. The ancient walls of Jerusalem is just across the valley. What make me think that maybe this valley is Guy Ben Hinnom, could be. I'm not sure, but it could be Guy Ben Hinnom. Interesting. Anyway, as I was walking, I was deepening down in thoughts about what I was speaking about in the preview episode, and actually it will be good for those who really want to understand what I'm talking about to go and listen to the preview episode before. I was speaking about the idea of nationality and separation, the deep idea of separation as something that is missing the reality. And I was speaking about the idea of connection and the will of people to just have good life and good healthy communications and with their neighbors, creating circles and net of connections between humans. I was speaking about that as something that I found stronger in the sense of bigger and more natural, rather than the false idea, as I see it, of separation and therefore groups and nationalities. And so I was thinking about that, and I wanted to maybe give a metaphor for that. In this metaphor, you can see people as water, like water molecules. Okay, so when you have water running around rivers or running in the sea, they have flows, right? There is groups of water molecule that are moving in a certain direction, and you have groups of water molecule that have some kind of characteristic stuff that got mixed in there. Maybe some are more salty, maybe some are more have more calcium or something in it, I don't know. Water are water, it's CO2, but it's is it CO2? No, it's H2O. Sorry, obviously water are H2O. They are all H2O, but in every group of water you have different materials mixed among this H2O. So in this way you can kind of saying that there are a groups of water that have certain characteristic, or group of water that are moving together in the same direction. Okay, and in this way you can look at people, and usually water that are floating in a certain direction together or came from the same direction will have the same characteristic because they collected the same materials along the way and got mixed. The certain materials got mixed between them. So in this way you can look at people and say okay, so I see nations of people, I see groups of people, I see races of people, because I see them moving together in a certain direction or have a common characteristic. But when you look at humanity or at water from that perspective of naming certain flows or naming certain groups of water molecules, then you miss their deep essence as water and as human, as I see that are actually purely like H2O, actually purely just like human souls. And every H2O can connect with every other H2O. Flows are changing, water are moving between flows are connecting. Groups of water that have different characteristics are occasionally always mixing with each other, creating new groups. Flows are connecting with each other or moved out by outer powers and creating new flows. They're always mixing and recreating, and it's, a molecule of water in its essence is not belong to any specific flow or group. It's just occasionally connect with other waters into flows and groups. And even this is, it's not like it's not completely precise to say, because you see water, if you look at the sea, like different flows within the sea, there is no certain border within those flows. Only if you look in a high perspective and make like lines that are not existing in reality, line borders between flows, only then you can speak about certain flows. Other ways, it's always like it's one thing that have motions within it. It's not different motions that happen to be next to each other. This is when you're speaking about sea. It's easier to see it there. But if you're looking at rivers, so you can say like, okay, this river is a certain group of water. It's all flowing in the same direction, and it's all it's limited by land. So yeah, okay, you can look at it at that narrow perspective. But if you look at a higher perspective, you see this river is flowing to the sea, and it came from a spring that came from rain, and it's being vaporizing and sinking in the ground always. So in this way, again, the idea of that we see a certain group of water is false. It's a false idea created by our limited perspective as humans, our limited senses. Our limited consciousness, maybe, that we cannot like grab all the connections. Sometimes things seems to us as separate because we are not, strong or big or wide or high enough in our perspective to see the connections between all. So in this way, I'm seeing people in the same way. When you speak about Arab, Israeli, Jewish, Palestinians, Europeans, Asian, Africans, all those kind of like definitions to group of people, it's all false in the way that it's coming out of our narrow perspective upon things, that we cannot see the connections. And what I'm saying, walking here in central Jerusalem now, seeing like Jewish people and Arab people just mixing together daily, what I'm saying is that the pure essence of a water as water, the pure essence of human as human, is wider and more natural, and therefore stronger in its ability to exist than the false idea of separation, of groups, of hate and of violence. So yeah, I think that's true, and that's inspiring and bring me some optimism, which is nice. And on the other hand, it seems that we have lots of work. Look what you have in the city center, this city that is created from so many different cultures. You walk around here, you see the different flows mixing each other. You just see it. You see a church and a synagogue and a mosque. They all like in the same space, and the people are meeting each other daily, and they have like a commune life, if they want it or not. But still, the hierarchy, power structure, those isolated people that are sitting in the head of hierarchy and controlling the space with power, with violence, what do they put in the center of this city? What is like seems to be the most important thing in this city is the thing that I'm looking at right now, is the wall. You're standing here and I'm looking at a giant wall, and that is like the most impressive thing, so-called, that this city have to put up in this center, kind of. That's very sad. It's exactly that. It's the idea of wall. Here you can see its the most physical expression of the idea of separation, trying to bring this idea into reality by force, building a wall. The wall not really separate anything, you know. It does. It separates a lot. It's preventing people from actually meeting each other. But the air floats between the two sides of the wall. Plants are going in and out. Animals, you know, birds. Nature is stronger than this wall. It's just an attempt to show up false reality of separation. This is how I see things. So I have the ancient wall right here in front of my eye, and if I turn my eyes just a little bit more to the right, then I see another wall, much more like practical. It's the giant concrete wall separates the land that was under Israeli control before 1967, and the land that Israel conquered after 1967, known as the Palestinian territory, the West Bank. So there is like a giant wall, and you can really almost, I can look at both of them, I think, in the same frame, in both of the edge of my perspective. Amazing to see how this ancient wall is, as an idea, as an ancient cultural legacy idea of separation, how it duplicates itself into present life, you know, created by the same idea of separation, created a 100 of times bigger wall, as you can see here, between Israel and Palestine, preventing people from meeting each other, preventing people from creating connections, preventing people from knowing each other, and creating connections of love and caring. But if you go back to optimism, you see lots of civilian doing that try to give space and let this natural connecting let this nature of connecting of human to express itself. You see like orchestra of Palestinian kids and Jewish kids. You see schools that are that are mixed, Palestinians or Arabs and Jewish Israelis, two-tongue schools. No, you don't see much of them. This is very rare things, but you see them. You see them. Lots of doing by just people that living together that try to be neighbors. You know, all kind of political movements like standing together, or the movement of fighting the occupation, that are speaking out in Arabic and in Hebrew to bring this natural connecting into the surface, to break those walls of separation, of false separation. I don't see those doing coming from the direction of the government, because the government is based on hierarchy, power structure of abusing people rather than supporting their needs. This is how I see that. But if you look at the people doing, they always, or if they don't believe the government idea of separation, then they always push upward the natural connection, the natural, peaceful, loving, caring, connecting that is that is the real essence of humanity, as I see that. Yeah, so there is a base to optimism because people pushing it from below. I think it was Menachem Begin, one of the Israeli prime ministers. I think it was him, I'm not completely sure, but I think it was him that said that war is preventable, and peace is unpreventable. This is the words of Menachem Begin. I think we can end with that. We can end this episode with that. Thank you, listeners, for listening. Bless us all.